Hi guys, welcome back to Nitah Crochets. My name is Nitah. Today we have this shell stitch monokini. I made this 5 years ago and still up to date. People that purchase the pattern struggle to make this monokini. That's why I thought of a video tutorial. So first, it's going to have 2 parts. Please do not be lazy to watch or look out for the second part. And then secondly, I lost the first clip of this tutorial, so I had to re-record the first clip using my flashlight because I was running out of time. That's why it's like under the flashlight, but the rest of the clips are really fine. Also, I figured that there are a few errors I need to put right in the written pattern, but I'll get back to that later on. Yeah, so I'll be editing that later after I finish the whole entire tutorial for this swimsuit. This swimsuit really took a lot of my time recording it. Making it is very easy for myself because I already know what to do, but recording it for you guys in a very slow manner for you guys to understand how to make it is what is hard. So first of all, we are going to make a slip knot and we are going to chain 14. Now when you have 14 chains, you're going to get into the second chain stitch from the hook and you'll work a single crochet. Then you will continue working 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way until the end of the row. You should have a total of 13 stitches, all right? Once you come to the end of your row. So let me just work that until the end of my row, then I'll get back and show you guys what to do. Now here we are. I have come to the end of my row, and to work my very first row of the shell stitch, I am going to chain 3, and the 3 chains act as a double crochet stitch. Now into this very first stitch, I am going to work 2 double crochets, okay? 2 double crochets, just like that. Yeah, just like that. And I'm going to skip 2 and work a single crochet into that next stitch, just like that. Then I am going to skip 2, work 5 double crochets into the next stitch. So that's 1, and those are 2, those are 3 now. Those are 4, and then I will work the 5th, just like that. So once you have all 5 double crochets into that stitch, what you're going to do, literally this is the first full shell. So we are going to skip 2 and get into the next stitch and work a single crochet like that. Now we are going to skip 2 once again and get into that very last stitch right there, and we shall work 3 double crochets to end our row. Okay, so that's 1 and that's the second, and then we have the third. Yeah, so that's how it looks like. First, what you have is a half of a shell, and then a full shell, and then half of a shell. Okay, now to start the next row, we are going to chain 1 and turn our work. I really have to work a single crochet, but I just intend not to work it. I do that intentionally. I'll tell you why ahead of the tutorial. So we are going to skip the next the single crochet acts as a stitch, so we are going to skip the next 2 stitches and get into the single crochet stitch and work 5 double crochets, just like you see. Okay, so we skip the next 2 stitches and get into that next stitch, which is the 3rd stitch of the 5 double crochets of the previous shell. So in there we work a single crochet, then once again we skip 2, get into that single crochet stitch right there and work 5 double crochets. Okay, and once we have all 5 double crochets, we are now just going to skip the next 2 stitches and we shall work a single crochet into the 3rd chain stitch of the 3 chains that started the previous row. So that's how you end your row, and you can see now we have 2 full shells On the first row we had half a shell, a full shell, and half a shell, which makes it a total of 2 shells, right? On the next row we just have 2 full shells. That means the next row we are going to have half a shell and 1 shell, then half a shell. Okay, so these 2 steps is what you repeat to keep a straight line when working the shell stitch. So first we are going to chain 3, which acts as a double crochet stitch. Into the very first stitch we work 2 double crochets, then we are going to skip 2 and work a single crochet into that next stitch, just like you see. Then we shall skip 2, get into that next single crochet stitch, and we shall work 5 double crochets all in that very same stitch. So guys, I'm really going to be caught in between trying to explain to you guys so you clearly, immensely understand this, and also voicing the tutorial, but I'm going to, I'm going to do it all because I really want you guys to learn this and learn it for real. Yeah, I don't want any complaints of I didn't understand. Okay, so we are going to skip 2 and get into that next stitch and work a single crochet. Now to end our row, which is us having half a shell, we are going to skip 2, get into the single crochet stitch that we worked when starting the previous row. I told you it acts as a stitch. So in there we are going to work 3 double crochets all in that very same stitch, right? You see now, that's what we have. We have half a shell, a full shell, and half a shell. Okay, so we are going to repeat what we did on our second row. Master these 2 steps because I'm going to let you work the next rows on your own until we have to get to the increase. Now the next row is we chain 1, which acts as a stitch, and we skip the next 2 stitches, get into the single crochet stitch and work 5 double crochets all in that very same stitch. I'm trying to be slow. I don't know whether beginners will manage this, but if you do and you're very adventurous, I know you're going to manage this. And I look forward to seeing your mix, honestly. So here we are going to skip the next 2 stitches and get into that next stitch, which is the 3rd double crochet stitch of the previous shell. Work a single crochet in there, yarn over, skip the next 2 stitches, get into that single crochet stitch right there at the bottom, and work 5 double crochets in there. So you can see that on this row we are going to have 2 full shells. Okay, all right, so in there you work 5 double crochets, and once you have all 5 double crochets you're going to skip the next 2 stitches and work a single crochet into the 3rd chain stitch of the 3 chains that started the previous row. So that's how you work a straight line with the shell stitch. Whichever piece you choose to make this stitch with, that's how you work a straight line with it. So just follow these follow the 2 rows, what we have done for the 2 rows for the next oh yes, for the next 2 rows. So we have a total of 6 rows. Okay, this is how your work should look like after you have your 2 rows complete, following what I have showed you guys to do. Now I am going to start working an increase for the front part of our bikini bottom. Okay, so we are going to now start increasing the shell stitch. Oh my god, there's so many things we're just going to learn from one tutorial, and that's why I love this design for. Now we are going to chain 3, which works as a double crochet. Oh yes, a double crochet stitch, and into this very first stitch we are going to work 5 double crochets. Now previously we were working 2 double crochets because we wanted us to have half a shell, but now we want to work an increase, and so we are starting with a full shell. That's why we are working 5 double crochets. I hope that is understood. Oh no, we are working 4 double crochets in here because the 3 chains act as a double crochet stitch, which makes it a total of 5. And once you have that, you're going to skip 2 and get into that next stitch and work a single crochet. Then yarn over, skip 2, get into that next stitch, work 5 double crochets. Okay, 5 double crochets all in that very same stitch. Okay, and now 5. Once you have all 5, you are now going to skip the next 2 stitches and then work a single crochet into that next stitch, just like that. Then you will skip 2 and get into the the chain 1, which acts as a single crochet stitch right there. Into that chain 1 stitch, you are going to work 5 double crochets. Now, guys, this is where the difference comes. Previously, into the last stitch, we would work 3 double crochets, but now because we want to have a full shell, which is an increase, we are working 5 double crochets to end the row. If I work 3, it keeps a straight line, but if I work 5, you will see the increment that you're seeing when we are starting the row, okay? So yeah, we work a total of 5 double crochets, and this is how your first row of the increase should look like. At this point, we have 3 shells on our row, okay? Now to work the next row, we don't increase. The next row is literally just to maintain the increment, the steep increase we have just worked previously, because if you increase on this row, you're just going to lose the shape of your bikini. Now for this row, we are going to chain 3, which acts as a double crochet stitch, and we shall work 2 double crochets into that very first stitch, okay? And then we are going to get into we are going to, let me see, 5, 2, we are going to skip 2, and then we shall work a single crochet into the next stitch, yarn over and skip 2, work 5 double crochets into that next single crochet stitch. In there you work 5 double crochets, okay, and once you have all 5, you are now going to skip 2 and get into that next stitch and work a single crochet. Then right there we skip 2 and work 5 double crochets into that next single crochet stitch. And once we have all 5 double crochets, we are going to skip 2 and work a single crochet into that next stitch right there. Oh yeah, so next we shall skip 1, or when starting the row we skip 1, yeah. So next we skip 1 and get into the 3rd chain stitch of the 3 chains that started the previous row. In there we work 3 double crochets. Now guys, this increment has a 3-step repeat, so keep in mind what we did for the first step of our increase, and this step, okay, and then the next step. So previously we had 3 full shells, and now we have a half a shell, then half a shell at the end, then 2 full shells in the center at the middle of the row. So that means if we put it together, we have 3 shells. That means we have not worked any increase, but we have maintained what we got from our previous increase. Now also the next row is just to maintain what we have gotten from our previous increase. So we chain 1, which acts as a single crochet stitch, and we skip 2, get into that single crochet stitch right there and work 5 double crochets all in that very same stitch, okay? And once you have all 5 single crochets, you are going to skip 2. Once we have all 5 double crochets, we are going to skip 2 and get into that next stitch and work a single crochet. Then skip 2, work a single crochet into that next stitch. Excuse me. Oh no, skip 2 into that next single crochet stitch, we work 5 double crochets. I'm sorry, getting confused. What I like about this stitch pattern is it like builds up on its own, like you just know where exactly to put what the moment you have it all in control. So we skip 2 once again and work a single crochet into the next stitch, then skip 2, work 5 double crochets into the next single crochet stitch, and if you see clearly, this is like our third shell, right? So once you have that, you're going to skip 2 and get into the third chain stitch of the 3 chains that started the previous row. In there you'll work a single crochet. Now when you look at our work, we have 3 shells at this point, 3 full shells. Okay, so these are the 3 steps we are going to repeat when increasing for the front part of our bikini bottom. I am going to repeat these 3 steps, then later I'm going to have you work the rest of the rows on your own, okay, including the back of the bikini bottom. Okay, all right, so we chain 3, which acts as a double crochet stitch. Because now we are increasing once again, we are going to work 4 double crochets into the very first stitch. Because the chain 3 acts as a double crochet stitch, that means we have 5 double crochets, and that indicates that we are working an increase when starting the row. All right, for cases where we have 5 double crochets, that means it's an increase, because normally it should be 3 double crochets. So we skip 2, work a single crochet into that next stitch, then we skip 2, okay, get into that single crochet stitch right there and work 5 double crochets. Once you have all 5 double crochets, you're going to skip 2 and get into the next stitch right there and work a single crochet. Then yarn over, skip 2, work 5 double crochets into the next single crochet stitch. And once we have that, we are going to skip 2. Yes, so we skip 2, get into that next stitch and work a single crochet, just like that. So we are almost at the end of our row, sorry. So we are going to skip those last 2 stitches and get into the single crochet stitch, which is the chain 1, okay? And in there we are going to work 5 double crochets to end our row. Now let me just show you how our work has actually increased from our previous rows. The previous 3 rows were having a total of 3 shells. Now on this row you are going to find that we are having a total of 4 shells. Do you see that? We have that started the row right there. We have that, and that. So those are 4 shells. That means we have an increase, and you can already see our work is actually increasing, which is exactly what I wanted you guys to see. So we are going to do what we did on our second row of the increase. Remember, it is a 3-step repeat, okay? And here I'm going to chain 3 and turn my work into this very first stitch. The chain 3 acts as a double crochet stitch, so into the very first stitch I'm going to work 2 double crochets, which means this is half of a shell, okay? Then I'm going to skip 2 and get into that next stitch and work a single crochet. Then I'll skip 2, get into the next single crochet stitch and work 5 double crochets. So yes, you work 5 double crochets into that next single crochet stitch. Once you have all 5 double crochets, you are now going to skip 2 right there, and work a single crochet into that next stitch. Yarn over, skip 2, work 5 double crochets into that next single crochet stitch. Once you have that, you will skip 2 and work a single crochet into that next stitch. Yarn over. You see what we have so far? It's half of a shell and then 2 full shells. Yarn over, skip 2, get into the next single crochet stitch, and in there you're going to work 5 double crochets. Once you have all 5 double crochets, you will skip 2 and work a single crochet into that next stitch. I keep forgetting that on this rows we skip 1. Oh god. Yarn over, skip that next stitch, get into that get into the 3rd chain stitch of the 3 chains that started the previous row, and in there you're going to work 3 double crochets, all in that very same stitch. So this means we have worked our other half of the shell. Okay, see what we have? We have 2 halves and 3 full shells, okay, which makes it a total of 4 shells. Now we are going to work what we did on the 3rd row of our increment. Previously, remember I told you this is a 3-step repeat. Once you grasp these 3 steps, you're going to work your increments as you should. Okay, so right there is what we are going to work, that row right there. Now to work that row, we are going to chain 1, which acts as a single crochet stitch, and we shall turn our work. Now guys, this is why I told you I don't want to work a single crochet instead. I just work that chain 1. When you work your single crochet and you skip those 2 stitches, get into the next stitch and work. You see that little gap that is created right there? It comes from the single crochet. However much you try to adjust your tension so you close the gap, it is really hard. That's why I keep just chaining 1 and keeping in my head that this chain 1 is going to act as a single crochet stitch. Okay, so yeah, you chain 1, turn your work, skip the next stitch and get into that next single crochet stitch and work 5 double crochets, all in that very same same stitch. Okay, so if you feel like you're very okay with the little gaps, I sometimes just don't like the little gaps because some people are not, like, you know, comfortable with them. So yes, we work our 5 double crochets and then skip 2, we get in there and work a single crochet. Yarn over, skip 2, work 5 double crochets into that next single crochet stitch. If you're fine with the gappings, if you feel like the chain 1 will confuse you, please get a stitch marker and just insert your stitch marker into it so you don't lose count of your stitches. But the fact that this stitch literally forms itself, it's very easy to catch up where you lost, you know, your stitch pattern. Now we are going to skip 2, get into the next stitch and work a single crochet. Yarn over, skip 2, get into that next stitch and work 5 double crochets. Okay, and then we are going to skip 2 and work a single crochet into that next stitch right there. Yarn over, skip 2, get into that next stitch and work 5 double crochets. And once you have all the 5, you're going to skip 2 and work a single crochet into the third chain stitch of the 3 chains that started the previous row. So that's how you work your 3 rows of the increase. I'm going to have you guys just repeat this for the next 6 rows, sizes small and medium. The size small fits a size medium of this monokini. I'll just you know, if your working size is large, you may go up to having a total of 18 rows for your front piece. 18 rows for your front piece from where we started our increase. All right, size is small and medium. Just repeat these 3 steps 2 times. That means you're going to repeat them for the next 6 rows, which gives you a total of 12 rows from where we started our increase. Okay, this is how it should look like for sizes small. Okay, if your working size is medium, I think you should be about 2 rows ahead. Sizes large should have like 15 rows from where we started our increase going up. It should be 15 rows. So that means for you, you repeat the 3 steps let me see, 3 more times, right? Then sizes small and medium, you repeat the 3 steps 2 more times, right? So this is how it looks like. Now I am going to get started on the back part of our bikini bottom, and I'm just going to show you 1 row because guys, I've already showed you how to work your increase, your 3 rows of the increase. So with the back part, I am going to just show you how to get started on the very first row of the shell. Then I'll let you just follow through the next rows on your own. Okay, so for the back piece, we are not going to work any normal rows. We are just going to straight away start an increase. Okay, so first we are going to get into the first stitch on the opposite side of our foundation chains, and we shall chain 1. Then we shall work 1 single crochet into every chain stitch on the every stitch on the opposite side of our foundation chains. Okay, work 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way until the end of the row, and you should have 13 stitches once you come to the end of your row. Okay, this helps us secure our crotch area, you know, and also just helps us to like have a starting point on where to start building our back piece of our bikini bottom from. That's the only reason as to why, but mostly to secure the crotch area. So once you have everything complete, okay, you will now chain 3 and turn your work. Now, like I said, we are straight away going to start working an increase. Remember how we worked our very first row of the increase, the very first step? That's what we are going to do right here. So into this very first stitch, we are going to, we chain 3, turn our work. The chain 3 acts as a double crochet stitch. So into this very first stitch, we are going to work 4 double crochets. 4 double crochets because the chain 3 acts as a double crochet, which makes it a total of 5 double crochets. Okay, so right there, once you have that, you are going to skip 2 and get into the next stitch and work a single crochet, then yarn over, skip 2, work 5 double crochets into the next stitch. So I'm just working this row with you guys, but you're going to work the rest of the rows on your own because I already showed you how to work the 3-step repeat. So I'm just working the first step with you, then you'll work the next row, the next 2 steps with you on your own, Then after, you will now start repeating the 3 steps, the 3 steps, the 3 steps, okay? So once you have all 5 double crochets, you are going to skip 2, work a single crochet into that next stitch, yarn over, skip 2, work 5 double crochets into that last stitch. Okay, so that's how you work your first row of the increase. Now you're going to work the next 2 rows on your own, because if I work them, the whole tutorial is really going to get lengthy, and I'm trying to even partition it I found that this first part literally just needed to be 2 parts, but I'm just, shrinking it into 1 part. So yeah, follow what we did when working the increase for the front part. Like you can see, we have 3 shells just like we had right here when we started our increase. So just do what we did on the second row after the increase and what we did on the next row, then repeat those 3 steps what we did here. Repeat those for the next we had 6 plus 12 for the next 17 rows. Okay, so you're going to repeat that for the 3 steps for the next 17 rows. All right, so that you have a total of 18 rows, just like you have 18 rows for your front, because when we add the 6 rows of the normal shell stitch without any increase, then the 12 rows of the increase for the shell stitch, that gives us a total of 18. So even on the back piece we must have a total of 18 rows. Okay, if you're working sizes large, I believe you have a total of, let me see, 15 plus 6, which makes it a total of 21. So when working your back piece for your size large, you should have a total of 21 rows from the first row that we have done on the back piece, from the first row of the increase for the shell stitch. Please do not count the single crochet row, it was just to secure our piece. Now here I was just taking you through exactly what you have to do so that you don't get confused. It is what you did exactly for the previous rows. Chain 3, turn your work. Into the very first stitch you work 2 double crochets. Remember that chain 3 acts as a double crochet stitch. So you skip 2, work a single crochet into the next stitch, then skip 2, work 5 double crochets into the next stitch, skip 2, work a single crochet in the next stitch, skip 2, work 5 double crochets into the next stitch. That's where I am right now. And then skip 2, work a single crochet into that next stitch. Okay, then you will yarn over and skip 1 and work 3 double crochets into the very last stitch. All right, now that's what we did. If you recall, that's what we did on the second row of our increase. Okay, if you remember so well, which was done right there. Okay, right there. So what's next is this, where the shells are full. That's what we are going to work for the third row, and after you're just going to repeat these 3 steps. So here you will chain 1, turn your work, skip the next 2 stitches. The chain 1 acts as a single crochet stitch, so you skip the next 2 stitches and work 5 double crochets into the next stitch. 5 double crochets. Into that stitch. Once you have all 5 double crochets, you're going to skip 2 and work a single crochet into the next stitch. Then skip 2, work 5 double crochets into that next single crochet stitch. Once you have all of them 5, you are now going to skip 2 and work 1 single crochet into the next stitch right there. Then you are going to skip 2, work 5 double crochets into that next single crochet stitch, and then you will skip 2 and work a single crochet into the third chain stitch of the 3 chains that started the previous row. So that's how you work your third row of the increase. After this, you're just going to repeat these 3 steps just like you did for your front piece for the next 15 rows. Sizes large, you will go all the way for the next 18 rows. So let me meet you guys once you have that complete, then I'll show you what to do. So this is how your work should look like. I have 18 rods in total from my crotch area going up. I didn't count the single crochet row. So sizes large should have a total of 21 rows. Okay, now I'm going to get started on my lower waist. So also joining the front and the back, like the front and the back, and creating, you know, a lower waist kind of thing. So here I'm going to chain 3, which acts as a double crochet stitch, and I'll turn my work into this very first stitch. I'm going to work 4 double crochets all in that very same stitch. You know by now that this is an increase, all right? Okay, so once we have that, we are going to skip the next 2 stitches and work a single crochet into that next stitch. Oh no, we are going to skip the next 1 stitch and work a single crochet into the next stitch. Yarn over, skip the next 2 stitches, work 5 double crochets into that next single crochet stitch. You work your 5 double crochets in there. Then you're going to skip 2 and work a single crochet into that next stitch. Then skip 2, work 5 double crochets into the next single crochet stitch. This is very simple, guys. You need to already by now know how to work your shell stitches. So I'm going to let you work the shell stitches on your own until the end of the row. And I'm going to meet you at the last shell so I show you how to end your row, okay? So just keep skipping 2, working a single crochet into the next stitch, skip 2, work 5 double crochets into the next single crochet stitch. Repeat that, and I'm going to meet you on the last shell and show you how to end the row. So here we have a single crochet, and this is how it looks like so far. Now I'm going to yarn over, skip the next 2 stitches, get into that chain 1 stitch right there, and work 5 double crochets all into that very same stitch. Okay, so once I have all 5, just like that, once I have all 5, I am now going to chain 18. All right, I'm going to chain 18. And once you have all your 18 chains, you are now going to yarn over. Remember where we worked, where we had our very last, you know, last stitch for the front piece. So into that very last stitch of the front piece, which is the single crochet stitch, in there we are going to work 5 double crochets, right? So you work 5 double crochets just like that. Now the 18 chains are regardless whether you're working size medium, small or large, keep the 18 chains. If you really want to go wider, probably you're working an extra large, you can go, if you're working an extra large, it's okay. Oh, sorry. Now skip 2 and work a single crochet into that next stitch. Then you're going to skip 2, work 5 double crochets into that next single crochet stitch right there. So if you're working sizes extra large and large, extra large going forward, you may need to keep what large has worked. Do the very same thing like the size large has been doing, but once you get on this step at the chains, you will work what's 18 plus 9? Let me see, 18, 27. You will chain 27 instead of 18. All right. So that's the only difference if you're working for larger sizes, or if you work size large and you feel like the chains that you have are not don't give you enough width to go through your hips. Please chain 27 so that you have room to like go through your hips all the way to around your lower waist. So at this point, we are just working our normal shell stitches. Chain 2, skip. Sorry, sorry. Skip 2, work a single crochet into the next stitch. Skip 2, work 5 double crochets into the next single crochet stitch. Skip 2, work a single crochet. So just do your shells all the way until the end. I'm going to meet you at the end and show you what to do. Now, as you can see, I am right here almost at the end of my row. I have worked 5 double crochets into, I skipped 2, worked 5 double crochets into the very last stitch. So what is left for me is to work my chains. Now I'm going to work the very same number of chains as my previous chains that I worked for the other bridge, and that's 18. And now once you have that, you are just going to get into the third chain stitch of the 3 chains that started the row, and in there you're going to work a slip stitch right there. So that's how you join, you join these pieces to have like a lower waist. Okay, so here we are, and we are going to chain 3, turn our work, right? So once we turn our work, we are going to yarn over and work 3, oh no, the 3 chains act as a double crochet stitch, so we are going to turn our work and work 2 double crochets into that very first stitch. Okay, right there. So we are going to skip the next 2 stitches. Okay, get into that next stitch and work a single crochet, yarn over, skip 2, get into that next stitch and work 5 double crochets all in that very same stitch. Okay, I joined my my yarn here, and I've just not yet cut off the yarn ends. I'll cut them off later. So just resume with working your 5 double crochets all in that very same stitch. Once you have all 5, we are now going to skip 2 and work a single crochet into the next stitch, just like that. Yarn over, skip 2, work 5 double crochets into that next stitch, just like that. Then skip to work 1 single crochet into that next stitch, yarn over, skip 2, get into that stitch right there, which is the last chain stitch. In there you're going to work 5 double crochets all in that very same stitch. And once you have that, you are now going to skip 2, work a single crochet into that next stitch. Okay, After you have worked your single crochet in there, you're going to skip 2 and work 5 double crochets into that next single crochet stitch. Okay, and then once you have that, you are now going to skip 2 and work 1 single crochet into that next stitch. Skip 2, work a single crochet into that next stitch right there. And then yarn over, you'll skip 2, just work your shells the way you have 2. You already know how to work your shells, guys. From here, just work your shells until the shell that will sit right there and have a single crochet into that third stitch right there. So let me meet you there. Okay, here we are. I have worked my shells until the second last shell. This is how my work looks like so far. And I am right here, okay? See how it looks like from the start? Now, at this point, what you're going to do is you're going to yarn over and skip those 2 stitches, get into the very first chain stitch right there and work 5 double crochets. 5 double crochets all in that very same, in that very same stitch. Now you're going to skip 2 and get into the next stitch right there and work a single crochet. Yarn over, skip 2, work 5 double crochets into the next stitch. All right. That's my daughter disturbing me. She's literally bringing the remote to me so I can change to her favorite channel. So here we are going to skip 2 and work a single crochet into that next stitch. Yarn over, skip 2, work 5 double crochets into that next stitch. Guys, I'm literally sleepy, but I need to get this done. So you skip 2, work a single crochet in there. We have 2 stitches left, as you can see. So we work a single crochet in there. Then we're going to yarn over, skip the next 2 stitches. Yarn over, skip those next 2 stitches, get into that very first stitch of the shell and work 5 double crochets in there. Just like that. And you skip 2. Skip 2, work skip 2, work a single crochet into the next stitch, then yarn over, skip 2, work 5 double crochets into the next single crochet stitch. Now here you are going to work the rest of the shells on your own, my dear. I'm even speaking Luganda. You're going to work the rest of the shells on your own, my loves, so that we can get through with this tutorial. So this is how the work looks like. Just work your shells all the way until let me show you guys where to stop. Yeah, just work your shells all the way until right there, until the shell that has to sit into that single crochet stitch, and then the single crochet that has to be right there. Yeah, so here we are. I have worked my shells all the way across, and I am right here where I have to show you how to end your row. Now to end the row, what you do is you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the very first stitch that started the row, and in there you're going to yarn over and skip 2. Insert your hook into the very first stitch that started the row. In there you work 2 double crochets, then you will work a slip stitch into the 3rd chain stitch of the 3 chains that started the row, and that's how you close up your shell. Okay, so that's how our first row of working our shells for our lower waist has turned out. You can even just have this as your bikini bottom and add an elastic strand to it. Guys, this is so beautiful. Oh my god, this is so cute. Honestly, I would just imagine this as a bikini bottom, and it has an elastic strand, and someone just fits and snatches into it. I cannot imagine how many lessons, how many designs you guys are actually picking from just this one particular tutorial. So to work our next row, we are going to chain 1, turn our work a single crochet into that very first stitch. Guys, get your stitch marker and mark that single crochet stitch if you know that you always lose stitch count of your stitches, or if you feel like you may forget where you started from. Now skip the next 2 stitches, get into that next single crochet stitch and work 5 double crochets all in that very same stitch. I'm just going to work a few shells with you guys, but you're going to work the rest of it on your own. Skip the next 2 stitches and work a single crochet into that stitch. Yarn over, skip the next 2 stitches, work 5 double crochets into the next single crochet stitch. So go all the way around like this, just working your shells as you have to, because now you already know how to work your shells. So you skip 2. After you have your 5 double crochets, you skip 2 and work 1 single crochet into the next stitch. Okay, so that's how you work your shells. You see how they are. Please remember that that's where we started from. Now just work your shells all the way around, because now honestly everything has been simplified for you. Just work your shells all the way across this whole entire row, skipping 2, working 5 double crochets into the next single crochet stitch, and skip 2, work a single crochet. Now when you get here, after you work your 5 double crochets, you will just work a slip stitch into the chain 1, yes, that started the row. Okay, so your work should look like this at the end of the row. I'm just going to show you how to end your row, just in case it may confuse some of you that really need me to work very slow. I just ended almost 1 shell to the end of the row. So you see here, I will skip 2, get into that single crochet stitch and work 5 double crochets all in that very same single crochet stitch. Okay, this is just to show you how to end your row, just in case you didn't know how, or you may get confused on how to end your row. Once you work your 5 double crochets all in that very same stitch, you are now going to skip 2 and work a slip stitch into the chain 1 that started the row. So that's how you end your row. Okay, now you see how we have started this row and how we are going to work the next row. Those 2 rows is what you will repeat for the next rows that I will tell you. So I just want you guys to master these 2 rows, because what we are coming up next with is a two-step repeat, this row and the next row. Now the next row, to start it, we shall chain 3 and turn our work. Okay, into this very first stitch we are going to work 2 double crochets. Now the chain 3 acts as a double crochet stitch, so here we work 2 double crochets. Okay, if you remember, this is how we actually started the very first row when after we worked our chains to join the front and back. This is how we started the very first row. Okay, but because we had chains to work with, let me just do it for you now again. So once you work your 2 double crochets, you skip 2 and work a single crochet into the next stitch. And once you have that, you're going to skip 2 and work 5 double crochets into the next single crochet stitch. Okay, so I'm not working the next rows on your own, with you guys. You're going to work them on your own. Here you skip 2, work a single crochet into the next stitch. You see it? So we started with half a shell and now we are working full shells all throughout. That's what we did on the very first row, if you remember. Now skip 2, work 5 double crochets into the next single crochet stitch. Okay, so here it is basically just you working your shells. Okay, once you have all your 5 double crochets, you're going to skip 2 and work 1 single crochet into that next stitch right there. You see? Now just work your shells all the way around, okay, until you are almost at the end of the row. I'm just going to explain what you have to do, then you'll do the rest of the rows on your own. Now here, if you remember what we did on this first row right there, we went all the way across, worked our last shell right here. When we got here, we skipped those 2 stitches, got into this very first stitch and worked 2 double crochets right there. And then we worked a slip stitch. If you remember how we ended our very first row for this lower waist, that's how you do it. Now after that, you're just going to repeat what we have done for the previous 2 rows, this row and the previous row. Repeat those 2 rows, okay, starting with a full shell, then the next row starts with half a shell. You start with a full shell, then the next row starts with half a shell. So guys, repeat that until you have a total of 7 rows. Sorry guys, I repeated mine until I had 6 rows in total from our lower waist. Okay, if you see what I have 6 rows from our lower waist. And now I am going to get my other yarn color. I am working with red. I'm just trying to see if red can really match pink. I don't know, but I know the color that you use at the center should be in position to pop out more than the color that you have used for the entire bikini. So that's why I chose red, because white would really not work on this one. So yeah, I am going through with my red. Okay, I'm going to attach my yarn into that very last stitch and I will work a chain 1, then work 1 single crochet into that very first stitch. Okay, now I'm going to work 1 single crochet into the next stitch, work a single crochet into the next stitch. Okay, work a single crochet into that next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch. So basically on this row we are just going to work 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way around, into every stitch, every double crochet stitch, every single crochet stitch. So you just do this all the way around for all the stitches. I'm going to get back just to show you how it looks like. Then when you come to the end of your row, you will work a slip stitch into the chain 1 space, into the chain 1 that started the row. Now if you have elastic strands, this is where you lay them underneath and work your single crochets while the elastic strands are underneath. They should be the thin ones, the very small ones that look like thread, right? You work them underneath the single crochets, okay? But if you don't, just like me, well, your work will look like this, okay? So it's optional, but if you want something snatched, you know, I've always put my elastic strands underneath, but for this time I'm not putting. Still, I'll show you how it looks like, you know. Now once you come to the end of your row, just like I have, you're going to chain one and turn your work a single crochet into that very first stitch, and after you have worked your single crochet, you're going to chain 5 and skip 5, get into that next stitch and work a single crochet, chain 5, skip 5, get into that next stitch and work a single crochet. Now guys, what was I about to say? Yeah, these next 2 steps is what you're going to repeat. So this and the next step that I'm going to work are the 2 steps that you're going to repeat for the next I think 4 rows or something. So just make sure you grasp everything that we are doing for this step and the next step. So here you're just going to keep chaining 5, skipping 5, working a single crochet into the next stitch. Do this all the way around until you have 5 stitches left to end your row, and there you will chain 5 and skip 5, work a single crochet into the chain 1 that started the row. So let me meet you guys there, then show you what to do. Here we are. This is how my work looks like. The chain spaces do not appear very well, but when I pull them up, that's when you see them. Okay, so I just came to show you how to end your row, so that yeah guys, oh yeah, sorry, I was misleading you. This is how you end your row. When you have 5 stitches left to end your row, you are going to literally chain 2, yarn over, right? Yarn over once again. Okay, now get into, skip 5 and get into that chain 1 that started the row, which is the single crochet, and then you insert your hook and pull through a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, then yarn over, pull through all. This helps us get to the center of our chain 5 gap and helps us work the next, you know, gaps in that kind of manner. So here you're going to chain 1, turn your work into that very first stitch. You're going to work a single crochet, then into the gap you are going to work 2 single crochets. Okay, work 1 single crochet into the next single crochet stitch, then work 5 single crochets into the next chain 5 gap. All right, excuse me, and then work 1 single crochet into that next single crochet stitch right there. Then you will work 5 single crochets into the next chain 5 gap. Just like that. Ooh, see how it looks like? Yeah, get into that single crochet and work a single crochet stitch, then get into the next chain 5 gap and work 5 single crochets. So repeat this all the way, and I'm going to meet you at the last chain gap to show you how to end your row. So go all the way around. Let me meet you right there. Right there. So here we are, guys. I have gone all the way around and I am at the last gap. So into the last gap, what I do is I work 2 single crochets. Actually, not the last gap, the first gap. Okay, I work 2 single crochets, then work a slip stitch into the chain 1 that started the row. Okay, because if you recall, I started with 3 single crochets, okay, into that very first gap. Now for me to work these other 2 single crochets is just to make it tantamount to 5 single crochets, which were the very exact single crochets we were working for every chain 5 gap. Now to work the next row, like I said, we are repeating 2 steps, which is the chain 5 and then the single crochets. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how to work this row, then you're going to work the next rows on your own. Yeah, so here you are going to chain 1, turn your work into the very first stitch. You're going to work a single crochet, then you're going to chain 5, skip 5, work a single crochet into that next stitch, chain 5, skip 5, work a single crochet into that next stitch. This is what we did right there when we were starting. Okay, it's what we did right there. And after we worked all these chain gaps, we started working single crochets over them. So what we have done for the previous 2 rows is what we are going to keep doing for this row. So once you work these chain gaps all the way across, you're going to now get back and work single crochets over them. Once again, you do it again, you work the chain gaps and then work single crochets over them. So basically we are repeating the 2 steps for the next 4 rows. Okay, since I've already started this row, you now have 3 rows left. Now we have the lower piece complete. Watch out for part 2.